Hey everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Resonance. This is a new, well, fairly new I guess, like less than a month old, point-and-click adventure game that is from the guys at Wadget Games, who are the same people who developed Gemini Rue, which was like a grimy, like point-and-click action noir game that came out, I guess around like a year and a half ago, as well as like the Blackwell Retribution, like Blackwell Legacy adventure game. So these guys have a staunch recent history in the point-and-click adventure genre, and Resonance kind of feels like their magnum opus. Like this is they put 5 years into this game, and it's got a really cool concept, and the puzzles are good, and the story is fantastic so far in the, hour and a half, 2 hours that I've played so far. And as someone who's not really a fan of point-and-click adventures, this has really actually surprised me by capturing my attention. But the first thing we're going to do is get started here, and I will have to shut up because we have an opening cutscene here that sort of sets the stage, or at least starts the mystery ball rolling for the rest of the game here. So we'll get started with that. We're going to show off like very, very early gameplay so I don't spoil any puzzles for you guys. So as we get started here, we should see a fake news briefing.
Unconfirmed reports now coming in from Zurich, bringing the total number of countries experiencing attacks over the last hour up to 12. And we're still waiting for word from our Washington bureau since losing contact with them approximately 20 minutes ago. Explosions or some type of attacks have occurred in cities around the globe. The attacks are accompanied by power surges, large-scale blackouts. At this time, we do not know the exact nature of these attacks, but they do not appear to be conventional explosives. Some have pointed out, and this is still just speculation, these attacks appear to resemble the incident that took place at the Juno Particle Accelerator in Aventine City on Sunday morning, though authorities have been calling that an accident. What connection the incident in Aventine City could have had to these worldwide attacks is, at this point, unknown. Being told now we've...
Alright, so we got this kind of cool sci-fi premise set up, and then we're going to start 60 hours earlier playing as one of our protagonists here, who is going to struggle just to find his alarm clock. And after we find the alarm clock, I can kind of give more of a, I guess, a backdrop to this game. So as we get out here...
That sound. Make it stop. Where's that noise coming from?
Alright, so I'm going to look around here. As you can see, this is very much in a, kind of like a Sierra point-and-click adventure style. Like I'm thinking of games like Space Quest or like Freddy Farkas Frontier Pharmacist. Like this game makes no bones about trying to be like super stylish 2D or like a super stylish 3D point-and-click adventure games. It has a very deliberate aesthetic style that harkens back to like the early 90s point-and-click adventure titles as opposed to something else. But anyway, we're going to look in the hamper here for our alarm clock. For some lines there's voice acting, and for others there is not. But the voice acting is, I would say, so far middling, but it does add a nice touch to things, and it keeps the story moving along even when you're not actually looking at the screen. So we found a pair of pants in there, as well as some socks. We're going to look in our pants, and as anyone who has ever taken off their pants with their cell phone in it and an alarm set knows, or could probably guess, it is the cell phone in the dirty pants that was causing that alarm there. But anyway, we are going to add that to our inventory here. And we'll get our first puzzle because we can see that the battery is dead. So great way to start a Sunday morning. And he kind of like, the game tutorializes the first few puzzles. It's like, we got a spare battery in my drawer. It should still be charged. As we move along here, they're going to be less hand-holdy about the puzzles. They're not going to say like, oh, I've got a spare battery. Instead, they're just going to present you with the problem. Like, oh, my battery's not charged. And you'll figure it out for yourself. So what we've learned so far from that fake news briefing, and I hope you were able to hear everything that the news anchor was saying, was basically that there have been these mysterious explosions that have taken place simultaneously all over the world, and the other piece of important information was that, I guess two pieces, that they weren't like conventional explosives, so it may have not been like a traditional terrorist attack or anything like that, and it also, the explosions resembled the accident that happened at the Juno reactor in Aventine City recently. So we know there's some kind of science-y, physics-related stuff that's going on here. So what we were trying to do now, as you can see, we have our inventory here, which is just our cell phone. Obviously, we are Ed, but we are going to play as a variety of characters, as you will see. Now, this LTM and STM, these represent short-term memory and long-term memory, which we'll get to show off a little bit later, but for now, it's not important. So we know that the cell phone is in the drawer, so we'll click on the drawer. But unfortunately, the drawer's locked. Now, where did I leave that key? Like I said, this basically functions not only as like a prelude to the story, but also as kind of like a prelude to, oh, you've never played a point-and-click adventure game before? Well, this thing's locked, you're going to need a key, so we're going to explicitly tell you that. We'll walk over here. Obviously, I've done this puzzle before. On top of our microwave, there is a key. So we will pick that up, and it will get added to our inventory. Now, in standard point-and-click adventure style, as we move ourselves over here, kind of looks like our guy's a pompadour when he walks to the left. He's like a blonde Conan O'Brien, but anyway, I don't need this tutorial tip to show up. We can just take our key, drag this onto the drawers. Not his underwear. Oh god, don't unlock that. And then by opening the drawers, we should be able to get the spare battery. And again, you can see the tutorialization here where they're like, okay, first we're going to show you how to pick things up, then you're going to apply it to something in the environment, then you're going to apply two inventory items to each other. So we'll drag the phone battery on top of our cell phone. And now we have a perfect cell phone. Now, I'm not sure what this like pager up in the top right is. I think this represents like our progress throughout the game, like how many puzzles we've solved or like how many points we have out of a maximum or something. But you'll see this tick up as we move on here. Is that a pager? It's more like a filing cabinet or something. I just clicked on it to see what the heck was going on. Oh god, what? Okay, I guess that doesn't do anything. Anyway, so we have our cell phone now, so we can just go to our inventory and check this out. And we're going to get a kind of lengthy section of voice acting here, and I'll probably skip over parts of it just to keep this thing moving along here. But we are going to check our caller ID. You know what? Let's check the address book. I didn't look at this before. So the only number in the address book is 14A. Alright, so we're going to... What did I call 14A? I've never called that before, actually. Maybe this will add a little bit of flavor text here. I'm meandering a little bit as opposed to going straight for the objective. Perhaps there will be no answer. That'll be my guess. Right. Something tells me that might show up a little bit later. But anyway, we're going to check the caller ID. It is from the lab, which kind of indicates that we are some kind of scientist, which ties into the whole physics-related issue at the story. And we will just call Dr. Morales. And Dr. Morales will kind of tell us what the heck is going on. Oh, wait, I made a mistake. I didn't pick up something from the ground. Oh, well, we'll see how this plays out. So there will be some voice acting here. Dr. Morales has kind of a funny accent.
Dr. Morales, did you just call me?
Eddings?
Ed. Yeah, it's me.
Oh, good. Listen, I need your help with something.
Now? It's like 6:30 in the morning. On a Sunday.
Is it? I didn't wake you up, did I?
When I said he had a funny accent, I didn't mean that, haha, he's got like some kind of European accent. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure that the voice actor is not natively from where his accent is supposed to be from. But anyway. So did he wake us up? Yes, why not?
Yeah, you kind of did.
It is 6:30 on a Sunday.
Sorry, I guess I kind of lose track of the world when I'm working.
I know, it's okay. So, what do you need me to do?
First, I need you to confirm something. Did you finish those equations I gave you on Friday?
Yeah, just last night, actually.
Good. Do you have the results?
So these, we'll tell them to hold on for a second.
Hold on a sec. I gotta check my notes.
These are the notes down here on the ground. So I should have gotten these earlier, but I guess it doesn't matter. We can just stall the conversations a little bit. Pick these up instead. And then, where's our phone? We're still on the line with Dr. Morales here. Do I have to recall him?
You still
Oh,
there?
perfect.
Yeah. Do you have those results for me?
So what we can do here is during a conversation, we can just click on things in our inventory, and they'll show up in this box, and he'll talk
Got
about
'em
them.
right here.
Which is going to become really important when we're trying to like advance
Spot on.
dialogue
There's
for puzzles
definitely
a little bit
inverse
later on in the game.
relationship between attraction and proximity. Dr. Morales, you still with me?
I'm here.
It's truly astonishing, and wait until you see my proof. You were right all along. This is a vindication of...
I'm going to destroy them.
them?
My research, the data, the results. I'm destroying it all.
But Resonance, it's your life's work. You can't just...
Does that count as a late title card? I think it might count as a late title
This
card.
isn't a scientific or a mathematical dilemma. It's an ethical one. And trust me, I much prefer my problems to be hypothesized, tested, and quantified.
You're wrong. It is math. Everything is.
Nerd
The
alerts.
potential for good far outweighs the possibility of misuse. You can't deprive the world of such...
Danger? Someone's been following me, Eddings. I know it.
Just please, don't destroy anything yet. I'll come in right now. I'm on my way. Wait for me.
Alright, so that's kind of the end of our prelude segment. And I really like what the game does in that it kind of like doesn't talk about the actual incident that has happened, but it kind of alludes to it many times. But this is really the part that makes resonance so interesting to me. So after that prelude segment, we have 4 different clocks here that we can basically choose from. So we can see 6:55 a.m. up here on this like wristwatch, and then we've got like a child's clock down here and a car radio here with 7:05. This one's at like 6:27 or something. This one's at 7:30. Each one of these represents a different character at this place in time that is going on like nearly simultaneously. Remember, our protagonist said that it was 6:30 in the morning. It's going on nearly simultaneously to what is happening in that prelude section, and this is all happening in like nearby areas to the actual, I guess, incident at the lab. But anyway, we're just going to start. So we've got 4 different possibilities here. I'm going to play through some that I've already played through before. I've played through 3 of these. We're going to start with this dude. So basically in this one, we are at like a medical office, and we're kind of a spy. I guess we're a writer, and if we go check our phone, we can see what our objectives are here. So let's open up Ray's smartphone. And it has possibly the worst interface I've ever seen for a smartphone in my entire life, but we'll go to Memos, and we'll go to Goals. This will give us our objectives. So we got to delay the secretary's replacement, already done for us. Borrow maintenance uniform, clearly already done for us. Pose as mainframe repairman, get rid of the secretary, hack into the mainframe to discover the purpose of the mainframe, and search Antivorta files for A. Batra. Awesome. We also have Antivorta here, where this is going to basically tell us a little bit of background information about the building or the organization that we're in right now. So it's a secretive medical program. Office on the 7th floor of Aventine City General Hospital. Large mainframe computer with restricted access. Receptionist leaves at 7:30 sharp and is somehow collected to A. Batra. But we have no idea what's up with A. Batra. But anyway, we are here. So let's get started. Here's what I'm going to show you first right off the bat, is that we can take items from our environment. This is not shown in that first level. And we can drag them up into our short-term memory. So by dragging items into our short-term memory, we can actually use these as topics of conversation a little bit later. So let's go check out this abstract art. We'll drag this up here. So we can just drag in basically anything that we can click on. We can drag this up into our short-term memory. Now, not all of it is going to be exceptionally useful for us. Like, I'm pretty sure we're not going to need to talk about the clock with this receptionist, but it's kind of an interesting mechanic that you can kind of keep this stuff on file, and I guess maybe later take it from like room to room or area to area, so you don't have to actually go back and click on it in order to use it right away. So it's kind of like adding it to a mental inventory. We'll show a little bit of long-term memory slightly later, but anyway, for now, let's just talk to the secretary.
Him.
Welcome to the Antivorta Project. Please state your business.
So our business is we are a maintenance man. So I think if we talk about the terminal here, then she will open up to us a little bit.
I'm here to fix the mainframe.
I wasn't aware that the mainframe was in need of repairs, sir.
Oh, well, I was told to run some diagnostics. What with the citywide power outage and all.
In that case, I'm sure you know what to do.
I actually don't know what to do, but, you know, when in doubt, let's just flirt.
You're looking rather pokertudinous today.
What?
Pokertudinous, characterized by or having great physical beauty and appeal.
Are you attempting to woo me with an astonishingly large vocabulary, sir?
Is it working?
No.
So in spite of our best efforts, I don't think we're going to be able to woo her into submission and then, you know, proceed from there. But it's worth noting, the reason I did that flirting aspect there was to show you that even though the game is dealing with a relatively serious and kind of seemingly hard sci-fi concept, there is a lot of humor in the dialogue as well, and this is something that kind of permeates through most of what I played through the game so far, although there have been more serious segments. Let's see what she's doing right now.
You look like you're in the middle of something important.
I'm just writing a strongly worded email to my boss, who just asked me for his password for the 17th time. I'm informing him of where he can shove his stupid questions.
Won't you get in trouble for sending emails like that?
I never said I actually intended on sending it. It's a therapy exercise. Haven't you ever written an angry letter and then crumpled it up?
I suppose I haven't.
Trust me, it's much better than 6 months of anger management training. Trust me.
I'll take your word for it.
That's what I do every time I get an angry YouTube comment, or I just write up like a 340 character response, and then, well, I guess I just post it. So I think I'm going to try to move things along a little bit here, but this puzzle took me a little bit to figure out. We're going to talk to her about the clock, I think, is what's going to make this happen.
Say, would you happen to know what time it is?
Sure, let me check. Crap, 7:30 already? Look, sir, my shift's over and I gotta get going. I don't know where the next girl is, but she should be here any minute.
Get it? Because we delayed her off screen. We know that because we checked our phone. Alright, I don't even... Whoops, I accidentally clicked through some dialogue
I'll be
there.
fine. Don't worry about it.
Good. Just keep an eye on the box for me, and don't let anyone touch it, okay? No matter who they say they are.
Well, she seems pretty trusting, considering she's just going to leave us alone in here, despite us just saying that we are a maintenance man. But anyway, we're going to get to this cool section. I really like solving this for myself. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to do some kind of like pseudo-hacking here. So let's walk over to the computer first of all, and she should have left her login opening. So we know that her name is E. Walters, but we don't know her password. So, you know, we could type in, you know, like, I don't know, basketball. Nope. Oh god, her name has disappeared, but luckily I remember it. So we got E. Walters. What we can do to speed this process up a little bit, rather than just guessing, we have a password cracker in our inventory. So if we drag this down to the USB port here and insert it, it will run passcrack.exe and it'll tell us our password. And I'm going to get through this very, very quickly, but this took me probably like half an hour. This room itself to complete took me about half an hour the first time I did it. So we're going to take a while here to figure out what her password is. But any tech support person who has ever worked with office administrative staff is probably aware that this password is just going to be something stupid like password. But by hacking into her kind of like Aventine general login screen here, as you can see the ticker ticking up again, we can enter here and then start reading her email. So we can get a little bit more information about her emails here. So we can see there's the email from her boss, E. Goldberg, sent today. So this gives us a clue about another username, E. Goldberg. Blah, blah, blah. Could you send me my Antivorta login and password? I need to send it to someone and can't remember. Send it right away. So we have E. Goldberg. And I think we can also read our draft here from... This is the draft that she did not send to her boss. And all we're going to need to know here, I'm going to skip by it because this is flavor text, but, you know, read it yourself if you plan on playing the game for yourself. But... PPS, don't throw your aluminum cans in the non-recyclable trash can when there's a recycling bin in the hallway, you simpleton. That is going to become important later. So we're going to rinse and repeat here a little bit. Go back to our computer. Makes you feel like a real hacker, which, you know, for anyone who grew up in the swordfish era, feels good. So we'll type in E. Goldberg. Password is, well, we don't know yet. We'll get our password cracker. Oh, I want to not put it there. We'll apply it to the USB port, which is kind of a little stupid, I feel like. Like, just let me drag it onto the monitor, but I guess it's a nice touch. It feels satisfying when you actually figure it out. I actually know the password here, so I have no reason to run it. The password here is baseball, which is why I kind of tried to change the subject after I was like, basketball earlier. Can I just type? Man, this thing must use up a lot of resources because I can't, you know, like click and drag it out of the way. All right, so Eric Goldberg's password is baseball. It'll enter it for me itself. And what I'm going to do, I guess, is just try to figure out his actual name. Oh, I didn't even read this. What was I going to say? Okay, yes. So I'm going to kind of skip through a little bit of this puzzle here. But basically, all I needed to figure out here is that his name was Eric Goldberg. And then by figuring out that his name was Eric Goldberg, there's a clue in the Walters email account, which lets me know... Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Which lets me know that the login for Dr. E. Goldberg is just the first 3 letters of his first name and the first 3 letters of his last name. So we have Erigol. So we're going to go to the terminal here. The first thing we're going to do is type in help. And again, you figure this all out for yourself as you go. I'm just kind of expediting the process a little bit. So we can see, here are our options at this screen. We can type our login ID, reset our password, exit the system, or see available commands. So what we're going to do first is type in our login, Erigol. We're going to enter pass reset as our password. Don't I feel like a real hacker now? We'll enter Erigol again. Password sent to email address associated with username Erigol. So we're going to go back. I think you guys can probably see where this is going at this point. So we're going to walk back down here to this email. As tedious as this might seem with me talking over top of it, it was really satisfying in the moment. So we know E. Goldberg's password is baseball. And his password reset has been sent. So his new password is 74Q6. Kind of interesting. This is different than the password that I got the first time. So this must be randomly generated so that you can't just like walk in and solve the puzzle right off the bat. So 74Q6. Got it. So we're going to do one more thing here. 74Q6. 74Q6. We're going to open this drawer. There's some cotton swabs in there. So we're going to add those to our inventory. If you've ever played a point-and-click adventure game before, you are probably aware that those are going to come in handy at some point. We are also going to go to this trash can and remember that we've heard that Goldberg has been popping his empty cans in the trash can. So we will pick up this empty can. And what we're going to do here might surprise you, but having done this before, it is actually pretty predictable. Oh, I guess we can't use that right now. So first things first, we're going to go to the terminal. And we are going to enter our username, Arigol, password 74Q6. I hope I remembered that correct. Yes. Okay, now it says insert a DNA sample for verification. A lot of you guys can probably see where this is going. This thing's going to open up and be like, hey, put in some DNA. But obviously, it has to be the DNA of the person associated with the account. So we'll swab the mouth of the can, get some DNA from Eric Goldberg here, and then insert our can swab. A phrase I never thought I would say. Insert our can swab into the circular indentation here. Now we are main, so we can enter commands. So let's again go to help, see what we can do. Search the database, run subroutine, I don't know what that is, exit system, and see available commands. So let's search, and we'll search by sample, and we'll insert the DNA sample of E. Goldberg again, and we'll unravel the mystery a little bit here, but the mystery will in fact only deepen. So as you can see, we got a series of like nitrogenous bases scrolling across the screen here. So apparently Antivorta has a database of everyone's entire genome on file for whatever reason. So we're just going to see if they have our DNA here. This was the first time we've had long-term memory. But that's basically, it works functionally the same as short-term memory for right now, but I think this may carry over if you play as this character on like future sections of their life, if that makes sense. So I'm going to use a cotton swab on myself. Perfect. And then we will insert our swab into the machine. But first thing we have to do is go back, and then we will search database by sample and insert another one here. And we're almost to the end of this puzzle. And then I'll show you a little bit of the variety in the game, because not everything is this kind of like dry kind of tech support stuff that you can see going on here. Obviously, they do have our DNA on screen there, and as you can see, my name is Raymond Abbott. I'm just skipping through the dialogue a little bit here. But anyway, we're going to go back. And if you recall, we did have to search for someone's name in the files here, but I've forgotten what his name actually is. So we'll go back into our smartphone. Goals. I think it's A. Batra or A. Barda. I think it's A. Batra. A. Batra. Okay. So now we'll search by Antivorta project files, and we'll put A. Batra. So we found a document, JP479. This is, again, a totally different code than the first time. I actually didn't expect that. JP479. JP479. So our last objective for this room, having solved it in like 8 minutes as opposed to my original like 25 when I was on here the first time, is to look in these folders, and then I'll just input the name of my folder here. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's do it again. From the bottom drawer, where you keep everything important. JP47. What? Oh, maybe it's in a different folder this time. Again. Watch it, eye, guys, mixing it up. Not in the third folder either. Let me guess, it's in the last one you check. I'm going to check the top, and then we will check the second one if necessary. Of course, right? JP479. There we go. We finally got it. In the last one I checked in. It was kind of cool. So now this is basically just our clue. I'm going to skip by the story. It's our clue for the rest of the game. Our guy's just going to get the heck out of here. And then I will very quickly show you another segment just to kind of indicate to you guys that this is not going to be like all this guy for the rest of the game. I want to show off the variety of like tones that the game has and the variety of characters that the game has as well. So next we're going to go to our car stereo down here. And this is going to put us in kind of like a Gemini Rue type environment with a no-holds-barred cop who doesn't play by the rules. And if I was his commissioner, I would definitely ask for his badge and his gun.
The sun's beams glide between the buildings like a man's strong fingers through a dame's hair. The sight made me realize just how long I've been out here. Some low-level cat burglar caught breaking into the computer chip factory uptown had named this post office as a contact point for his buyer. Normally, I'd say this wasn't the kind of lead that warranted an all-night stakeout, but the chief's dogged insistence that I drop this case pretty much guaranteed I was going to follow it through. Why did she want me off this case so bad? Could the chief have some connection to this criminal organization? I had a lot of questions, and my gut was telling me exactly two things. 1, that I was hungry, and 2, that it was Reggie's turn to go get some donuts.
No, I got us those sandwiches a couple hours ago, remember?
Yeah, but you didn't get the donuts.
So, how did you get the chief to sign off on this stakeout?
Oh, right. About that. If anyone asks, we were patrolling the neighborhood around the arson all night.
I'm not gonna get reprimanded for this, am I?
Relax, Reg.
Sir!
What are you doing?
That guy came from the alley. We don't have visibility down there. Which means when he leaves, we're gonna lose him. I've got to get us a better line of sight.
How are you gonna do that without them seeing you?
I don't know. I'll grow some eyes in the back of my head.
This is against regulations.
You're out of the military now, Reg. This is police work. Sometimes you gotta pick which orders you're gonna follow. And other times, you gotta make your own orders.
Detective Bennett,
Going radio silent.
be careful.
So like I said, the voice acting is not always superb, but I think it has a certain charm to it, and it adds something to it. It makes those interludes there a little bit more exciting, and it kind of highlights what are important story elements, I guess, and which are not that important, maybe. But anyway, this is going to be a very short section compared to the last section that we just did, and I'll be able to breeze through this fairly quickly. So I know exactly what's important and what is not important in here. I guess the first thing we're going to do... Oh, I went too far already. Maybe I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Let's move ourselves over here, because there is like a brick that we want to take. Yeah, here we go. Crumbling bricks. So we'll kick one of these off the wall. And this will be good for smashing stuff. That's going to obviously become part of our inventory. Do we have anything in our long-term? No. We have nothing in our long-term memory and nothing in our short-term memory. But basically, our entire goal is going to be to kind of like get a stakeout on this guy who just went into the post office and see which one of those doors he goes into down this alley right here. So as we walk down this alley, we can see that there's 3 doors that he's going to choose from. I'm just going to like skip by the flavor text here. But well, I guess he either comes from like the fence or from like door 9, 10, or 11. Or 10, 11, or 12. Yeah, 10, 11, or 12. But anyway, we're going to leave through here. And you know what? I'm going to do what I always do first thing in the morning. What is it, like 7:05 on a Sunday? We are going to take out our wallet, which has a badge and a charge card in it. And then we are going to take our credit card. Oh, come on. We're going to take our credit card and pop it down here in the newspaper vendor, which is actually going to allow us to buy a newspaper. This is actually going to be over in like 2 minutes, I think. Remember, they dropped a pretty big clue. This one didn't take me that long to figure out. He's like, I'm just going to grow eyes in the back of my head. Well, in order to do that, we are going to take our brick here, use this to smash the car mirror. I promise I've never done this before. I mean, I've done it in the game, but in real life, of course. I'm too much of a good guy. We'll pick up the car mirror, and then we will use our brick as well. Certainly the most functional tool we've had so far, I guess next to the password checker. And by attaching the brick to the car mirror, we'll instead just have a shard of the mirror. And then if we go sit down over here, I think if we apply like the newspaper and the shard of mirror, we make like a mirror that we can look around with. Yeah, newspaper with mirror, and then we'll just use the mirror ourselves. And this should actually trigger like the ending sequence of this entire level. Use this on yourself, please. Yes, okay, there we go. So give me that weird shady look around. Now, shortly, that man should walk out of the post office. There he goes. So typical that the criminal is wearing a trench coat. Alright, somehow he didn't clue into our amazing disguise here. How's this for nonchalant? Pretty bad. You're the only person on the street. And we can use our mouse here to figure out which door he's going to go into. Obviously, he's going into door number 11. And after this section finishes, this will be the end of the video, but so far I'd like to say that I've had a great time with Resonance so far. Point-and-click adventure games don't always translate well to videos like this, because obviously I don't want to either fart around for an hour trying to find the solution to a puzzle that maybe is beyond my skill set, but at the same time, you know, showing off puzzles that I've already done maybe has the tendency to make it sound like I'm bored, even though I'm not actually bored right now, if that makes any sense. Resonance is now $20. It is not available on Steam until July 25th. But if you buy it on the developer's website, you get a Steam key, so you can play it on Steam before July 25th, if that makes any sense at all. So just Google Resonance or Wadjet Games, that's W-A-D-J-E-T Games, G-A-I-M-Z, of course, Yeah, $20, and definitely one of the most interesting point-and-click adventure games I've played in a long time. I mean, there's been some decent ones recently, like Hector Badge of Carnage from last year, like the Dream Machine came out on Steam earlier this year, although it's been in development forever. But yeah, this is definitely so far the one that I've found most engaging out of all those that I've played. I guess a little bit pricey, but it seems to be fairly long and inventive, I guess is the way I want to put it. A lot of care's gone into it. There's a lot of variety with respect to the characters that we come across as well.
Anyway, I hope you were paying attention.
Anyway, I'm basically just going to skip by this dialogue because it is flavor text at this point. Basically what just happened there is there was a blackout, and now there's like separate missions for me and my companion here whose name I've forgotten. But anyway, we're going to skip by this, and this will set up, I guess, where we are going to go to next.
Reg?
Yes, sir.
And all of these stories kind of interlock with each other in a way as well, which we will not see over the course of this video. But anyway, that has been Resonance. As always, thank you guys for watching. This is highly recommended, especially if you're a fan of like Wadjet Eye's earlier games. Like Gemini Rue is one that I think a lot of people in particular will have played because it's been included in either a Humble Bundle or an Indie Royale or an Indie Gala or something. And just point-and-click adventure fans in general, this seems like a really solid title, and I am finding myself enjoying a lot more than I thought I would. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.